everyone, Camelia here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new sewing pattern review. I made something really cute, I think, and I really wanted to share it with you. I'm going to talk about the newly released sewing pattern from Designer Stitch, their annual Valentine's release, and that will be the Iris camisole gown set. But first of all, I would really like to remind you that if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up below, give me a like, because that's really helping my channel and the video to get a little bit more attention. Otherwise, it's going to get lost into the YouTube sea of videos. But today I want to talk about something cute, as I said, and that will be my, I have the feeling that I have a thread here somewhere. That will be my versions of the Iris set from Designer Stitch. Every year, since a few years, Designer Stitch is coming with Valentine's, how should I say, theme pattern. And I really like that they are stylish garments that you actually can, of course, wear, and depending on the fabric that you're using, you can make also not only for sleepwear, but also loungewear and streetwear and whatever wear. So this year we get the Iris set, and I made two of them. This one was actually the first one. It was a little bit like a test. And to talk a little bit about the Iris set, so it comes in a few lengths. I'm going to put some pictures somewhere here. I'm going to put it here. It comes as a full gown. It has all kind of lines for longer and shorter lengths. I have it here cut. Well, the longest, well, there is not, no, this is the back. I don't have the piece here, but anyway, you see it in the pictures, and I'll put, of course, link to the pattern to the Designer Stitch web store. It's not an affiliate link, if you're wondering about. So it comes in different lengths. As a gown, you can make it to your knee, and I always think, lengthwise you can make a garment as long or as short as you want. I am wearing here the one that it is supposed to be a cami length. It is a little bit long, and you see it on the pictures here. I have it with the jeans, and I think that if I was to make this one, let's say to wear it, outside with a little jacket on, of course I'll go really much shorter, but I just cut it at the this longer length, thinking that I can always chop it off. So you have the lengths, the front part, it has here, you have the cups, and of course the Designer Stitch patterns, they are coming with most of them, and including this one is coming with cup sizing. I made a cup B, but I am actually between a B and a C, so I will definitely have to adjust for the next one, because I have the feeling that my bridge could come here in the middle just a little bit shorter or narrower, and the cup a little bit, to cup the breast a little bit better. But still, it's a very comfortable garment. It's not something that you have as a support garment or something like that, but for sleepwear, for, as I said, as a little cami under a nice leather jacket or something like that, I think it will work beautifully. So you have the cups here in the front, and there are two separate cups. Here is like you have a bridge, like you have in a bra. Just going to open the piece like this, and then on the back, and of course the front of the garment is decorated with some stretch lace, and the stretch lace is also forming the shoulder bands, as you can see here on my back. And the back is also made from two pieces. You have the lower part of the back, and here you have a back panel, and there is a little bit of elastic here at the waist. It's how should I say, it's more like an empire waist. It's not really the natural waist, it's a little bit lower. And then also here up there is a little bit of elastic, and I used, for both of these ones, I used a really soft elastic, 6mm or something like that. Another nice detail are, of course, the sleeves, as you can see here, and The sleeves are made, you can make them, I made them with lace, and on the pattern piece, and I'm going to get to the pattern in a minute. On the pattern piece there is a line here where it says to cut this on the scalloped edge of the lace. So you'll put this one on the scallops of your lace, and then cut it, and then you get this really pretty edge. But you know, if you don't have you know, lace that is going with the rest of the things in your garment, like in this one I did not have a little bit wider lace to fit my sleeve, and you see that in a lot of tester pictures. I just use a piece of the same fabric. This is a Challis from Minerva, it's one of their exclusive prints, and I just decorated this with the same lace as from the neckline, and that's really easy. The garment is cut on the bias, and I must say that most of the time I'm doing my cutting here in my sewing room, but in this case, because this is such a big, you know, it's a really big piece, the gown, the full one, I had to cut it on the floor, and you really need to have the space to cut it. But the camisole like this, it was really easy to cut it on the table. Cut on the bias, you need to be very precise that you're cutting on the bias. Something else that I did on this one was to sew the side seams with a very, how should I say, shallow zigzag stitch. I've seen that in a class from Kenneth D. King, where he's using that and he's giving that as an advice, because you know, a bias cut garment is going to have, of course, on the side seams a lot of stretch, and by using a zigzag stitch, even if it's a very shallow one, you'll give that you'll give some stretch to that seam, that it will go nicely with the rest of the stretch of the fabric. So cut on the bias, and of course that's making it a very flowy and very nice garment to have on. Let me think. On this one, the back panel here is cut on the straight of grain, but on this one I did cut it on the bias. And before I go to the cutting of the pattern, I just want to say that together with the camisole / gown, you get also a pair of pants, and these are really cool, great pants. And I do find that the camisole on itself is a great pattern, but with these pants, you definitely need to have this pattern. These pants, I wish I had some water to drink here. I don't. These pants have no side seam, and I remember that I was complaining a while ago about those no side seam pants, pyjama pants from Style Arc. But the big difference with this one, and when I heard Anne from Designer Stitch that the pants have no side seam, I was thinking, oh no, I don't want pants with no side seams. But the big difference is that these pants, you can see here, these are not cut on the fold. Actually, as you can see, they are cut, of course, flat. You have the back and the front of the leg, and you can always see that the back has a longer crotch length, and the front a much shorter and shallower here. And that is actually the problem with the other pants that I had cut on the fold, because on those ones you have only one crotch length, and I suppose it's a little bit between the front and the back, but I really need to have a different crotch from the front and a different one for the back. And these pants from the Iris set, they are really awesome. I mean, they're just great. By having these different crotch lengths, of course, you can follow the size that you need, and you have a really nice fitted pant. Something else on the pattern piece, there are two waist lengths, a lower waist and a more natural waist, and of course I made the highest one with the idea that if I don't like it, I can always chop it off. I always go with longer and more, and thinking that later I can make it lesser or shorter or whatever. And here you can see my pants, very nice, of course, to go together with my camisole. I even added a Minerva label to it. And these ones, they are done in no time. You have only the inseams, of course, the crotch, and to put the elastic, and it's done. If I'm not mistaken, I think there is also there are also patch pockets for the back. Something else that you can do with the pants, and a few of the testers did that. Of course, for the pants there are also different lengths. There is a shorter length, 7/8 or something like that. These are the, of course, the longest ones. And what you can also make really nicely is to add the same lace edging on the leg, or if you have a wider lace, you can add it and then trim off the fabric behind the lace, and to have a really pretty pant hem. So very nice. A lot, of course, with lace, and I find this so, every time when I'm not making a lot of those, I don't know why, because every time when I'm sewing with lace and this kind of tiny bits, I always enjoy that very much. So this was again a very enjoyable project. So let's go back a little bit, how I went with the sewing. So as I said, the main parts are cut on the bias. The cup, I don't remember if I cut the cups on the bias. I think I followed the, let's see, what is this? Is this my cup? Yes, I followed, of course, the grain on the cup here. These cups, they are, of course, on her, I think you can see better on the mannequin here. They are made to be gathered into the bodice here, under the bust, and also to be gathered on the upper part. And the idea is to press these gathers to give a little bit of fullness over the bust here, exactly here in the front. I think it's really cute. And then you have this lace here. The thing is, and I used for this black one because I used only what I had in my stash. This is what I used, and of course it's really nice to make a nice mitre here in the middle. And I will put a link. It's the same method that I used in my Bella camisole, you know, to get the really nice V here. And the thing is with this, because there are no sliders or any adjustable possibilities here onto the shoulder bands, I let a little bit longer length on my lace, and then I just pinned it here on the back, where it's coming onto my back somewhere. I just pin it. I just used a safety pin. I put the thing on, and then from the shoulder I just lifted up how tight I wanted to have the shoulder bands, and then I put a pin here, took it off, and that measurement I just took it off again from there, and that was my final length of the band. Something to remember also, that at the moment when you put this sleeve on, of course the sleeve is getting gathered to fit from this point to the back, but of course, because this the challis or whatever lace you use is not going to be as stretchy as this elastic, I think it's important to keep in mind that, and when you put the sleeve onto the band, maybe stretch a little bit, that the sleeve part is also getting a little bit of stretch to it, so it's not going to be a rigid part here on your shoulder, because otherwise it's going to mess up, of course, with the length of the shoulder band. And for the rest, when I added this, it's just, let me see, how did I sew this? It's just sewn the lace to the sleeve with a little zigzag here on the edge, but I did finish first the edge of the sleeve, you know, to have it nicely finished, and then I put the lace on. The hem is just a turn-up hem, and of course, as usual with most of the things that I'm sewing lately, I need to have some things to get wrong and to have to unpick. And in this one, of course, I had to make a mistake too. In this one, I don't know what happened, but I used the measurement for the elastic from here above. I use it for the waist elastic here. And I must say that if you do that, I am going to tell you, pay attention, because otherwise, if this is getting too, if you put the elastic here too tight, it's going to pull everything, is not going to be a good look. So pay attention to that. There are two different lengths for this, for these two elastics here. The armhole from the cup here down up to the back here is getting finished with a little bit of bias binding, and of course I use the same as from this. The same, I think. This is the same. I just cut and use the same as from the rest of the garment. And for the rest, I think this is a very cute and flowy set. Fabric wise, as I said, this is a challis, you know, the typical viscose challis from Minerva, the one that I use for blouses and dresses and whatever. And this one is, I cannot remember where I bought this one. I think it was from Dresden. This one is like twill satin. It doesn't have stretch. It's kind of heavy. You can almost see it. So much heavier than this stuff, than this challis. But the cut on the bias is just so flowy and so beautiful. I think also a pair of pants would work nice. Talking about the pants, in the instructions there is also a tip that, you know, depending on the motif that you have, the print that you have on your fabric, you'll want probably to cut the pants also on the bias to match a little bit with the camisole. But that's going to require much more fabric, so something to keep in mind. I had 3 meters of this fabric, and of course I think with this print you totally cannot see if this is cut on the bias or not. So these ones are just cut on straight of grain and it's working great, so it's really not a problem. One more tip. So this is the lace that I used. And I was thinking that maybe on the, I don't have that, but I think someone with a little bit of a bigger bust, maybe you want to have a little bit more support here on the shoulder bands, you know, just for the garment to hang nicely. And I was thinking that maybe it's possible to put underneath here to sew also a little bit of elastic from the top of the cup. So not here on in the front, but from the top of the cup all the way of the band to sew underneath. I don't have it here, but you know, just some basic. I really don't have it here. Just some basic bra band elastic. You know, if you have black, you can use some black, and to just stitch it with a zigzag stitch underneath the lace. And like that, of course, you have a much more stronger hold, because I find this, at least my lace, is really very delicate, I should say. I don't know how much is going to hold this one. Something else, I was thinking that it would be also a nice thing if you don't have the lace and maybe you don't want to deal with the lace. It's starting to rain. You could also use some fold over elastic, you know, the usual fold over elastic, and just use this. This will give also a little bit more stronger shoulder band, and just use this to bind the cups. And then here in the front you could just put a bow or something like that, because it will be, I think it will be hard to miter this elastic, or maybe not. But I think some fold over elastic, and of course you have to keep in mind that your cup is going to come just a little bit, you'll not have so much coverage as with the lace. And I've seen some testers also with some much wider lace, of course, in the front here, that will work also. But again, some elastic, bra band elastic underneath the lace straps here, I think that will be a really nice you know, idea to give a little bit more strength to the whole, keeping the garment up. And one more tip I want to give you. I found this very useful, because as I said, the garment is cut on the bias. Of course the pieces are you know, to be cut on the fold, and I suppose that if you have something with a little bit of stretch, absolutely you could cut it also on the straight of gray. But because I wanted to cut it on the fold, I just doubled the pattern piece on another piece of paper, and then I could cut it very easily single fold. I also did the same for the lower back piece, and of course also the same for the upper back piece. So just double the pattern, put some paper, and then you know, just cut around, and then you have very easy your pattern piece. And cut it, if you cut a single fold, of course that's going to make it also very easy to place on the fabric and to play a little bit with, especially if you don't have a lot of, you know, a really big piece of fabric, you can take a lot out of your piece if you cut a single fold. So I think this was everything that I wanted to share about the Iris set from Designer Stitch. And I received, talking about undergarments, I just got my copy of Lingerie, and I pre-ordered this a year ago, so it finally arrived, and I'm going to take a look and try to make at least one thing out of it to see how the instructions are, especially size wise. I'm really curious if I'm going to get my size correctly after using this. So this was everything for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, the Iris set is going to be, I think, starting with today, 3rd of February, for about a week, I suppose, in sale on Designer Stitch website. I'm going to put a link here underneath in the video description. Don't forget to give thumbs up to this video if you enjoy it, and if you have any questions or whatever, opinions, don't be shy, put them here under the video in the comments, and I always enjoy to read your comments. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye!